Good afternoon, everyone. Today we will tackle about the reading intervention for learners with additional needs. So we will discuss three approaches. First is a Montessori education, second is the Orton Gillingham approach, and third is a multi-sensory approach. So first, let's discuss about Montessori education. The proponent of this approach is Dr. Maria Montessori. She was born in the 1870 and died in 1952. She was an Italian physician and anthropologist. She devoted her life to understanding how children develop socially, intellectually, physically, and spiritually. She observed children all over the world. So she then discovered the universal patterns of development which are found in all children's regardless of their culture or the era in which they live. So she was the first woman to be granted a diploma as a physician in Italy. Her associates included Anna Freud, Erik Erikson, Mahatma Gandhi, Alexander Graham Bell, and John Piaget. So let's go to Montessori approach. Montessori is a method of education that is based on self-directed activity, hands-on learning, and collaborative play. So children work in groups and individually to discover and explore knowledge of the world and to develop their maximum potential. In Montessori classrooms, children make creative choices in their learning, while the classroom and the highly trained teachers offer age-appropriate activities to guide the process. Montessori for students with special needs. The Montessori methods of education provides a nurturing, supportive environment for children of all abilities and learning styles. This includes children with special needs, including physical disabilities, learning differences in reading, writing, spelling, and/or math, ADHD, and mild to moderate autism spectrum disorder. So, I have here a quotation from a parent. She said that my daughter struggles with reading and was diagnosed with dyslexia, and my son struggles with attention. Within the Montessori environment, they have learned personalized strategies to overcome these challenges, at the same time building their confidence and self-esteem. She was Jenny J. from a Montessori school. She was a Montessori parent in Dallas, Texas. So, parents and teachers explain how integrating children with special needs into Montessori classroom can facilitate discipline, confidence, and growth by observing each child. So Montessori teachers create individualized lesson plans that meet the needs of every child. So there are two categories in finding a fit, whether your child fits in this kind of approach. First is we have the right academic fit and the right social fit. So the right academic fit, in here, Montessori respects each child's unique learning path. Your child's educational plan is matched to their unique developmental level, learning style, and interest. She will receive individualized instruction and progress through the curriculum at her own pace. So as we all know, learning is better when they learn in their own pace. So she will be free from the pressure to meet formal standards of learning, such as grade level benchmarks, at a predetermined rate, but will be challenged at the appropriate level in all areas of learning. So what are those areas? We have the cognitive, the affective, and the psychomotor skills. So Montessori approach is a multi-sensory and hands-on approach. So the teacher really are are hands-on in teaching the children. So it also helps children develop organizational and time management skills that lead to independence. This is especially important for students with executive functioning deficits. So, what is executive dysfunction? This is a term that is used to describe the range of cognitive, behavioral, and emotional difficulties in which this often occurs as a result of another disorder, a traumatic brain injury. So this is an additional disability. So individuals with executive dysfunction struggle with planning, problem solving, organization, and time management. So if you have one of these, maybe that is a problem, but we cannot say that it is a disorder. Maybe it's just a problem with us. So we also need to determine it to ourselves whether we have these problems or not. Because me, I am really I have difficulties in problem solving. And then we have expertly individualized instruction for all students. So that means that they are really hands-on, and through careful observation of each student, teachers tailor their lesson planning to include accommodations for students who need support. So adaptations, accommodations, and modifications are very accessible in this kind of approach. So next we go to the right social fit. So Montessori value respect for others, for the diversity of students, and inclusion. Children with special needs often thrive socially in Montessori environments where they are welcomed into a multi-age peer group that promotes kindness and acceptance, developing leadership skills and serving as a role model. In the multi-grade classroom, your child will build self-esteem through individualized, positive learning experiences. This decreases the tendency of children to compare their progress with their peers or notice if another classmate is more or less advanced. This eliminates the impression of being behind that children with special needs may feel in traditional classroom. Why? Because all kinds of disabilities are here. Why? Because there are no age group, meaning all ages are combined in one classroom to learn the same thing. So they can mingle on the old and younger people. So Montessori education is a experiential learning. So this is the study of Dr. Montessori. And this type of classroom led to a deeper understanding of language, mathematics, science, music, social interactions, and more. So basically, it covers everything that is in life. So they give us, or they give the children life experiences. And then most Montessori classrooms are secular in nature, although the Montessori educational method can be integrated successfully into a faith-based program. So the respect and the acceptance, from what I have mentioned earlier, that is an example of faith-based program. Because if you believe in God, you respect other people and you accept them for what they are. That is how you respect your neighbor. Love your neighbor. Okay, that is what is written in the Bible. So next we have creating a match between the child's natural interest and available activities. So Dr. Montessori believed that children can learn when they are choosing what to learn and That philosophy is present in Montessori classroom today. So a Montessori classroom likely looks different than what you're used to. Things that make it unique include various activity stations for children to use from throughout the day. So they have the privilege to use what they like or to choose what they want to learn. And then teachers moving from group to group instead of standing at the front of the classroom. So it is a hands-on teaching. Okay, so next is a non-traditional grading system. So the child is given the grade based on the outcome of what she wants or what she chooses to learn. Okay, so a focus on a whole student, meaning as a whole. The children is given opportunity to learn in social, emotional, intellectual, and physical development are all considered. So there are pros and cons. No matter where we go, there are always a pros and cons in life. Okay, so first is we have an emphasis on hands-on independent learning. So what does this mean? Okay, so I have here a quote. Creating a beautiful and accessible environment is a paramount of importance, as children directed their own learning with the help of meticulously designed learning aids, said by Karen Briggs, who founded the International Montessori School in Japan. So maybe she is a teacher or an administrator, and she believes in the philosophy of Dr. Maria Montessori. Second pro is we have enhanced social interaction. So grouping children of different ages together in the same learning environments. And Stephen says most Montessori classrooms are mixed age. That's what I have told earlier, mixed age. And intended to foster peer-to-peer learning. This arrangement can naturally lead to growth that might not occur in more conformly aged classroom. So they are taught to be responsible. Okay, they learn how to be responsible. For example, a person older than, for example, I am a student and there's an older person. We are learning together. We have the tactile activity using the sand or the clay, and then the older person is more responsible. He will wash his hands after the activity. So as I have watched him do wash his hands, I will copy or imitate him. So I will also wash his hands. So that is individual and being responsible, learning individually. Okay, so third, we have independence as a mainstay. So valued a sense of confidence and creative freedom develop students who experience a Montessori classroom. They tend to be more managed, more able to manage themselves and think independently. So connected to my example on number 2. And then fourth, a cultivated love for learning main point. So perpetually curious about the people and the world around them. Seeing learning as enjoyable lifelong process rather than a burden that ends when a school bell rings. Just like when we are having a class in mathematics, it's so boring, and when the bell rings, we go out in the classroom because we don't have a choice but to learn mathematics. In here, in Montessori education, we can choose what we want to learn. If you don't want to learn mathematics, that's your choice. But as a lifelong skill, we really need to learn mathematics. Okay, so I have also a quote here. In my experience, they have a desire and an ability to connect with a variety of people and ideas in many different situations and contexts. Okay, cultivated love for learning. So they use many kinds of teaching strategies in different kinds of context and given situations. And fifth, we have the fifth cons, inclusive of special needs. So students with special needs tend to have less pressure to keep up with their peers and more freedom to learn and grow with their own pace. The classroom continuity can also help students with special needs to form close connections within their classroom, making for a safe and stable environment in which to learn. So Montessori's follow the child, what the child wants, what the child want to learn. Okay, this is the philosophy that allows for all children, not just those with special needs, to receive an individualized education, but all children, whether with disabilities or none. And a Montessori instructor's lesson plan may have each child's name on it, with different goals and ideas for their unique learning styles. This especially helps students with special needs to learn in their own pace. Okay? So let's move to what is the opposite of the pros. We have the cons. Okay? So what are the cons of Montessori education? First is that it can be expensive. Why? Because teachers under this kind of approach or under this school needs training, and we cannot say all trainings are free. So there are trainings that needs to be that cost money. So they when you enroll in a Montessori school, it's very expensive. Just like here in Cagayan de Oro City, Montessori school is very expensive. Next is we have, it's not accessible to everyone. Maybe we can't say because we haven't know and we haven't been in a Montessori school, but as what is the philosophy of Montessori education?